my friends, I am checking in from Bali. So I actually moved to a different city. I am now in the city of Canggu. Last week I spent a whole week in Ubud, which is the spiritual, cultural center of Bali. So I wanted to make a vlog sharing the lessons and insights that I've gotten from my week of doing a lot of yoga, a lot of healing, and some new experiences that I've never done before, activities like breathwork or ecstatic dance. If you saw my previous video, I made a vlog talking about my experiences, but I think I wanted to do a more organized breakdown of, I guess, each yoga class or each activity and the insights that I got from it. Let me just share all the classes that I did in my week of self-healing and yoga. And all of these were done at the yoga barn in Ubud. So I took 2 breathwork classes. I took a vinyasa yoga class, hatha yoga, kundalini yoga, and then I went to ecstatic dance twice. And one of those ecstatic dances had a cacao ceremony, which is where you just drink chocolate. Cacao is chocolate in its raw form, and I talked about that in the previous vlog. The first class that I took was a breathwork class, and I talked about it in the previous vlog, but breathwork is just a way of breathing to take yourself into an altered state where you tap into your innermost emotions, traumas. The purpose of breathwork is to heal, and so you're guided through this like 90-minute breathing session where your eyes are closed, you're just laying there breathing, but they're playing music that takes you along a journey. And in the first session, I noticed that during breathwork, my hands get like crampy, my body starts feeling numb, my mouth gets a little like crampy too. And that seems to be a physical theme for me, just the tension showing up physically, because that happened in a couple other classes that I took. And now at the end of the week, I see that happening because it's, to me, a form of my inner tension, suppressed emotion, suppressed stress, coming out and showing itself. And just being in a room of people who are also breathing with you, like people started screaming or singing, making noises, crying. I just had the insight that everyone needs to heal. Everyone has gone through something and needs to heal from something. And on one hand, it's kind of obvious, but on the other hand, it's a reminder that everyone has a story, everyone has a struggle that they're going through, and you really just can't judge people because you don't know. And we're all here to heal, so why not help each other heal? I also had a lot of connections happening throughout the week where I took it as signs that the universe is guiding me. For example, when I went to the yoga barn for the first time, which is the studio retreat area that I was doing yoga all week, I bumped into a college friend, Tim, and we both took that breathwork class together. Coincidentally, we signed up for the same class. That was a sign to me. We caught up, and Tim mentioned that he tried a bunch of different things in Bali, one being the cacao ceremony. And because he said that, at the end of the breathwork class, the instructor was like, oh, by the way, we're having a cacao ceremony on Monday. If you want to sign up, you can do it after class. And so because Tim mentioned it, I was like, oh, I'm interested, let me try that. So that led me there. And at the end of the breathwork class, we did exercises where we met up with partnered up with different strangers and just did a small exercise together. And one of the girls, I kept seeing her in multiple classes. We saw each other at the breathwork class, a yoga class, and then at the cacao ceremony that I signed up for. And then at the cacao ceremony, she came up to me. We were like, by that time, we were always waving to each other because we felt like we were friends, even though we didn't really talk yet. But she asked me if I was going to the next breathwork class. And I wasn't planning on going, but because she asked me, I was like, oh, I'm free, maybe I should go. So I took that as a sign of like the universe leading me to all these different experiences. And that second breathwork class was like a lot more intense and emotional, and I had a lot of emotional breakthroughs. And it's just, you know, one thing leads to another. I really felt like I was guided throughout the whole week to go to these different things to help me heal. And then going back to that idea of everybody has a story, everyone has a struggle, something they need to heal from, I decided to like sit down and have a drink with this girl that I've been seeing multiple times throughout the week. And getting to know her, I found out that she's from Germany, and the week before she came to Bali, her husband left her because he was having an affair with someone else. So the fact that like the breathwork class was our first class together, she like cried after we hugged. And I didn't know what to make of it because I didn't talk to her. I didn't know her story. And then at the end of the week, after hearing her story, I was like, wow, oh my God. Like everyone is going through something and everyone needs to heal from something. And it was just so interesting, the sequence of events that led to us connecting finally and sharing our stories with each other. By the way, I've been talking about how there's been so many chance encounters and coincidences on this trip. One being like bumping into my college friend, and as I was like sightseeing, I bumped into a Lavi love. So someone who watches my videos came up to say hi to me, and that was so crazy. And today in Canggu, I was at a cafe having breakfast, and I saw this girl walk past, and I realized that she was a friend from high school, like someone that I haven't spoken to in a couple years or so. And it's just so weird that I'm in a place that is so far away from home and it's so different, yet at every single point of my journey, I've either bumped into someone that I've known, or I've met people, or I don't know, I just feel like I thought that I was gonna feel alone coming here, and I was really nervous to just be by myself as a solo traveler. But after coming here and having all these like reunions and chance encounters, I really feel like I have friends here and I'm safe and I'm being guided. The next insight I want to share is the idea that you probably have a lot of suppressed emotions, tension, and stress. And the thing about emotions is you think that you can push it down and try not to feel it and it'll go away. But emotions don't go away, especially if you push it down. If you push it down and try to suppress or avoid it, then it's going to live in your body somehow. It's going to become tension in your shoulders or just issues with your back, things like that. And in order to release emotions, you just have to feel them. So you have to feel the emotion in order to let it go. That's it. Emotions can't kill you, but a lot of people are just too scared to feel them, and so they push them down, and then it becomes, even more problematic for your body. So when I was doing breathwork and Kundalini yoga, I noticed that there were points during the meditations where I would cramp up and I would become numb or tense. And even during Kundalini yoga, we did this like exercise where we're doing breath of fire, like pranayama, breath of fire, which is breathing really fast, like so like doing that while doing different types of stretches and movements. So doing like the shoulder one, I really felt like I just knew that I had so much tension here, knowing that I've had a lot of burdens that I put on myself. And the fact that I get all crampy and stuff during these activities tells me that this is inner tension and stress that I've suppressed down. I've had that tension or stress and I've tried not to feel it. And because I've tried not to feel it, it's become a part of my emotional body. And the fact that it's coming up, it gives me a chance to release it and really like breathe into my hands and really like try to pry them open, because literally they're like this. And like, it's just such a weird thing knowing that your body is holding something and you don't realize that it's holding something. So that was just an insight, and I know that I have to like keep practicing and doing this to release even more of what's inside of me. Another lesson that the instructor was teaching in that class was this idea of contraction and expansion. Instead of like trying to hit the end goal of your pose, it's really about like the movement, the process of getting there. And the universe is always like, things are expanding and contracting. There are cycles of life, seasons of life. There's summers and there's winters, and then there's really like an ongoing change and an ongoing cycle. And it's just a couple reminders. One, it's not about the end result, it's about the process of getting there. I know we've talked about that before many times, but also the idea that there are seasons of life, and there are times where things are going to be great and times where things are not so great, times when you are growing, times when you feel outgoing, and times where you want to retract and be by yourself, and times when things will not be growing as fast. They'll be slowing down, maybe even going backwards sometimes. And just embracing that cycles and seasons is a natural way of life. It's a natural way of our universe. So don't feel bad when you are not growing as fast as you were before, or when things have slowed down. Don't be sad. Don't feel like you're stuck. Don't feel like it's wrong, because nothing is wrong. Everything that's happening in your life is exactly as it should be happening. There are times of like exciting transformation, and then there are times where things are like slower and quieter and gentler. And it's accepting that, because I think in my mind, the ambitious side of me always wants to be growing exponentially. And you think that, life can always get better and better and better and better. But in reality, there's a lot of cycles and seasons and ups and downs. There were actually a few main insights that came to me again and again throughout this week in all these different courses. The insight of self-love and self-worth, because I now can see my life in the bigger picture. My journey was starting out as someone who didn't have much self-worth, and I tended to seek love and worth from outside of myself. And my whole life journey has been going from that person who's like sought out external love and appreciation and approval to becoming someone to see my innate self-worth and truly, truly learn to see how beautiful I am, how wonderful and worthy I am. And I thought I had self-worth and self-confidence, but it's still a lifelong journey. And I really felt like I made such big growth in that area, because if you guys watched my astrology video, I talked about lunar north nodes and lunar south nodes. So my south node is in Leo, which is where I've been, my past, and my north node is in Aquarius. So just from that itself, I know that my past is the performer, the person that needs everyone's attention and approval. And my purpose and my life goal or journey is learning to become more independent and not care about other people's opinions, what people think, and really just be completely and authentically myself. And I'm learning to do that more on YouTube. If you haven't noticed, I'm learning to be more authentic and share my opinions on things, even and especially if it's controversial or different and people won't necessarily agree with me. And I have to learn that it's okay not to please everyone. And I am feeling this growth still, and especially this week, I had this insight that all of the musical and creative gifts that I have were not meant to please other people. I was not meant to perform. I thought I was, but in reality, I realized that my gifts, I was given these gifts so that I could learn to see my own self-worth, so that I could learn to see how amazing and beautiful I am, just naturally. So I don't know if you guys believe in past lives and things like that, but your Leo South Node, the South Node means your past or your past life. And I kind of had this idea that the gifts that you have in this lifetime, you have them because you built up those skills in your past. So I'm just imagining maybe in a past life I was a performer and I worked on honing these crafts of dancing, singing and music and all of this stuff, and I really was that very Leo personality. In my childhood, high school and college, I loved to sing, I loved to perform, and part of that reason is probably because I loved the attention I got from people, because I grew up feeling that my parents didn't love me as much as they could have. I grew up feeling abandoned from my dad, and I grew up feeling like I wasn't very worthy as a child. I felt very invisible growing up. And so when I had this talent for singing, it got people's attention, and I think innately I craved that. And so a lot of my earlier years were about performing, and I think I did it for that reason. But I do have to thank my gifts of singing and music because it helped me build my confidence. I started a YouTube channel singing in high school, and that's how I built my confidence to like actually admit to people that I like singing, because I kept it a secret my entire life. So I was so shy, and it was through my gifts that I let other people see me and I felt seen. And you guys know that I pursued music after college. I thought that that's what I wanted to be, but my path led me into what I'm doing now, personal growth. And it's funny because I thought that I was supposed to be this performer, this artist, to perform for people and all of that. But now, as I'm getting more mature, I realize that I don't need people's approval anymore. And it's the journey of learning to give myself that self-love and approval. I see my gifts now as a catalyst to help me grow into this person who believes in her self-worth. And I really have to thank every single person who believed in me before I believed in myself. All of my experiences performing, anyone who supported like my singing or my dancing or any creative endeavors, I owe it to those people to help me in my journey to see my own self-worth. And I was like bawling during this breathwork like meditation, because I realized that I needed so much help to see my own self-worth. I couldn't see it when I was young. And you guys know that I've been dating my boyfriend Wilson for over 10 years. And one of the reasons why I feel like he's my best friend and he knows me so well is we were friends in elementary school, and he was one of the first people to like see me for my he was one of the first people that I felt saw me for my self-worth, and he saw something that I didn't see in myself. And this whole pattern of like my whole life of not like a whole lifetime like basically a whole lifetime spent of not recognizing my own self-worth and kind of needing other people to tell me I'm good, or tell me I'm smart, and tell me, like, give me compliments and things like that to help me see. And still I couldn't fully believe in them. And of course I've grown a lot in my journey already. I've grown a lot more confident, and I believe in myself so much more now than I believed in myself back then. But I just have to thank everyone who was a part of that journey, and I really have to thank you guys who watched my YouTube, especially people from the beginning, because I really needed the help of everyone watching my videos. I really needed the help of so many people, millions of people, to help me see my own self-worth. And this week in Bali, I had so many moments where I was like, dude, I'm freaking beautiful. I am so gifted and talented. And isn't it weird to hear someone say that? Like, why do we teach people to be humble, but in trying to be humble, we try to like downplay or not admit to our own beauty or our own gifts or our strengths. When we all have so much beauty. We all have a gift or strength. But for example, this week of going to ecstatic dance, just dancing freely, seeing how I can move, exploring and having fun with the dance. And also in Kundalini yoga, we did like chanting and singing. And you guys know I love singing, and I was like harmonizing with the chants. I was harmonizing and singing differently than people just because I could, because it was fun, because I made it extra pretty. And I was like, I have these gifts. And I thought that I had these gifts for the purpose of like impressing others or whatever. But in reality, these gifts are proof to myself of my own worth, of my own beauty. And it's just like a cherry on top. And when I talk about beauty, I'm not just talking about external beauty. I'm talking about beauty in your soul, in your personality, in your kindness, your compassion, being open-minded, having an open heart. I see all of those things as beautiful, and just I think a lot of my experiences this week showed me that I am beautiful, and it took me so long to see that. It took me so long to fully understand and see how worthy I am. And yeah, I just felt like I like leveled up in how I saw myself. And I think it was also because like during these classes, you're like extra tapped into your spirit. So you really see how pure your soul is. And it's hard to explain in words. And to some of you, this might seem like obvious lessons that we've talked about again and again, like self-love and self-worth, but there are levels to this. There are levels to how much you believe in yourself and how you see yourself in this world. And now I feel like I'm at the next level up where I really can be more authentic and I really can just be open-hearted and vulnerable and different. And I think different is the key, because Aquarius, North Node, Aquarius are all about being independent and different from the crowd. And I've always been one to not really have mainstream tastes. I always like different music, or I do admit I'm a little bit hippie or whatever, into different things that are not the norm. And when I was young, I cared more about like fitting in and being normal. And even like in the first few years of Lavendaire, I made content that was on the more safe side, even though I had interests that were more left field and alternative and different. And you know, now I'm learning to go from like trying to fit in, being safe, being a little different but still kind of safe, to like really growing into like the other end where I can be fully, more authentically myself. And this is another insight from this week, is to learn to be the fullest expression of yourself. Be completely authentic and real, and not feel fear or shame or embarrassment. I think a lot of us hold ourselves back because we are afraid of not fitting in. We're afraid of being shamed for being different. We're afraid of being embarrassed, you know, for being different or weird. We're afraid of failing in front of people. And to live life to the fullest, now in my eyes, is to be the fullest expression of myself, is to continue just speaking my truth, being everything, admitting everything that I believe in, sharing all of that, just knowing that people are going to shame me and not, you know, not agree with me, and people are going to get mad and offended. And to me, as long as my intention is not bad, as long as I have good intentions, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm just trying to be myself. And if me being myself is offending you, is hurting you, then I'm sorry, I'm still gonna be myself. And that's what I'm learning. So I think it's okay to be yourself and authentic, as long as you don't have like bad intentions to purposely hurt people. And I talked about this in a previous video, which I'll link here. And I'm just trying to live life with an open mind and open heart, to spread kindness and love and light. And I'm gonna keep doing that in the way that feels right to me. So I hope this video was interesting to you. I have so many more lessons and insights that I could share, but I just realized it's gonna be a long video. So I'll end it here. Sending you so much love. Love you so much. Bye. I was on the way to this beach at Seminyak. It was about a 15-minute scooter ride. And when I'm on scooters here, I'm like holding on for dear life. I'm holding on to the seat. There's like a little handle where you can hold on, because I don't want to die. I don't want to fall off or die. And you know how I've been talking to you guys about, during my breathwork classes, I notice my hands get tense like this. Like they just get clawed up, and I have, like, it's hard to like pry it open. And I think part of it is that tension that has built up. But today, the metaphor is, this is fear. This is just like I'm trying to hold on to the motorbike to not fall off and die. I'm trying to hold on and control things in my life because I'm afraid. And this might mean that I try to control things too much. I'm too afraid, and it's like lack of trusting the universe. And what you should actually do is learn to relax and learn to like let the universe do its thing. Trust in the universe. Trust that you'll be okay. Trust that everything will be okay. And I know it's hard because you never know if things are gonna be okay, but it's about learning to let go and trust. And so many people have the problem of holding on and just being afraid, and that's me included. But that was a little revelation I had today. Also because today I also went horseback riding for the first time on the beach, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. I just never had the chance to. But when I was on the horse, obviously I was afraid during the beginning, and the guy just told me to like relax and just, you know, relax your body, keep your back straight. And so towards the end, I kind of loosened up a little bit. And I think that, I guess practice helps you loosen up and not be so afraid. But just knowing that, you know, don't be so tense. Don't be so tense. Let go and let the universe do its thing. Trust the universe. And if you die, you die. It was meant to be, I guess. No, just kidding. I don't know. Yeah, just understanding that you don't have 100% control, and that's okay.